Sick of isolation? Watched everything on Netflix? Miss your friends? Then it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the Loyola College Variety Hour. Here's your host, Michael O'Keefe.
Well, good evening everyone, and hello and welcome to the fourth and final edition of the Loyola College Variety Hour. Pleasure to be with you this evening. My name is Michael O'Keefe, the Director of College and Community Engagement at Loyola College. For those of you that have stumbled across this little broadcast, we are a Catholic co-educational school in the northeastern suburbs of Melbourne, about 20 kilometres out, and this is day 4,231 of isolation for us. Premier just announced 2 more weeks of a hard lockdown, and then hopefully some light at the end of the tunnel. So wherever you may be watching, thank you so much for tuning in this evening, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook. We started this show just to give some people a little bit of entertainment during the lockdown here in Melbourne, and we've had great support. The first 3 episodes have been watched by over 3,500 people, so we really do appreciate it. And here's the final show tonight, and we have an amazing show for you. Coming up very shortly, singer and performer Felice Young will entertain us with a song. We're going to speak to one of our visual arts teachers. She's an illustrator. She's a bit of everything, really. We're going to hear from Alexis Winter and all that she's been doing during ISO and outside of teaching as well. And this evening's alumni is class of 2009. That's Gianna Lucas, who, well, you will hear later on, has done some amazing things, including currently on radio. We've got the quiz back tonight and a few other things thrown in there as well. So stick around, because this is the Loyola College Variety Hour. Well, I've been very lucky over the last few weeks to have some amazing talent right across the broad spectrum of year levels, and you just saw her there. Her name is Felice Young. She's in Year 9, and I welcome her to the show now. Good evening, Felice. And you are the first one. There we go. The first one. Well, we had to have it. We've had 4 shows and no one on mute, so you are the winner of that. Hello, welcome to the show. How are you going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm going well. Now, you are one of those year levels that has not really stepped foot inside of Loyola a lot this year. I think we worked it out. It's only been about 10 or 11 weeks that you might have actually been at school. So how is isolation treating you? What have you been up to?
I'm loving it. I love being at home because there's more time to do work, but you can also balance being at home and doing schoolwork.
Yeah, we have found this. A lot of students, some students just thrive being at home and they've really enjoyed the time at home. So you're obviously one of those.
Yep.
Now let's talk a little bit about your journey into performing arts. You've of course been a member of many of our musicals, and you are a singer. So tell us, when did it start? When did you get into the performing arts, and is it just singing, or what else have you done?
Well, I've been doing dancing and gymnastics since I was 5, and I only stopped when we moved from Sydney to Melbourne. But I've been singing for about 5 years, and yeah.
Great. And what are you going to perform for us tonight?
I'm singing Times Are Hard for Dreamers from Amelie the Musical.
Fantastic. Well, I'll let you get your music ready. This is Felice Young of Year 9.
They say times are hard for dreamers, but they won't be hard for me. I've saved up everything I know. To take that step beyond the lawn, keep walking till I see the station, and then see it go. Inside the train, all through the glass, my finger tracing all of these towns I've never heard of, racing past. Off the train in Paris, half a mile from Sacre-Cœur, the city's waking up for me. A sign says an apartment's vacant on the second floor, and suddenly I hold key. I turn a lock, the rooms appear. One more step, and then I'm here. Just me behind my door. It isn't one I have, it's only one I have in store. That matters now. The past can only and everything I ever need is here. They say times are hard for dreamers, and who knows, maybe they are. People seem stuck or lost at sea. And I might be a dreamer, but it's gotten me this far, and that is far enough for me. Look out my window, there's a view of other windows. You'll need through where everything is clear. It isn't where I am, it's only where I go from here. That matters now. The past can only fade, and everything I'll ever need appears. This is how my world gets made.
Elise, beautiful, fantastic. And I, you know me, I'm a big musical fan. Where I don't know much about this musical. What do you know about it?
Well, it's about this woman named Amelie who moves to France, and that's pretty much all I know.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful song. Fantastic to have you on the show tonight. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you back at school real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Felice Young there from Year 9. Fantastic performance. Okay, coming up, right up after this little break, we're going to speak to visual arts teacher, illustrator, and mum to many kids when she takes them overseas, Miss Alexis Winter. Okay, well, many students around the school would know this teacher because of her iconic dresses, which she does, in fact, make herself. She's one of our visual arts extraordinaire. Would you please welcome to the show, Miss Alexis Winter.
Howdy, Mark. How you going?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm still laughing about you saying I'm the mother to many children that we go overseas with. Still recovering from that lovely adventure that we had with 19 of my adopted children.
Now, let's just briefly touch on this. Of course, you were the visual art component of the Performing and Visual Arts Tour of the USA.
Yes.
And the only female teacher, which basically meant that in the middle of the night, your door was knocked more than anyone else's.
3 a.m. Is that a call? Hello? Yes, it's me.
And I would get up in the morning and go, oh, I had a great sleep. How are you? And you'd be like, I had 1 hour.
Worth it though. It was a good trip. It was great.
It was a great trip. And how have you been going in ISO?
Well, kind of like Felice, I've actually been having a pretty okay time in ISO. Just doing all the Melbourne things, like the sought after daily walk. I've been going on one of those a day, my 1 hour out of the house walk, which is great. But yeah, I've actually been having quite a nice time. Yeah.
And so, look, as I said, many students would know who you are, but let's talk a little bit in terms of they know when they see you who you are at school. You're one of those teachers that people know, but one of the teachers that students know, you know what I mean. But what I wanted to ask you about is a little bit about your journey before Loyola. So tell us a little bit about your life before you landed with us.
So before I became a teacher, I was actually freelancing as an illustrator because I studied design at uni. And I was also, as an additional job, working for a coach, like an artistic coach for people with disabilities. And then I went to my parents and I was just like, I've got a pretty big life thing I want to tell you about. And I sat them down and I told them that I wanted to be a teacher, and they were like, and so I went back and I studied. And then my first teaching job was actually at RMIT. And then I heard from one Miss Phipps about a really good opportunity at Loyola, name drop. And so then I came to Loyola and it was great.
Yeah, and it's been great having you there. So did you meet Sarah like at university, or you knew her outside of Loyola?
Yeah, actually, Sarah and I studied together, which was really lovely. And that was a pretty cool friendship to come out of going back to uni and studying to be a teacher. And then we're also incredibly lucky to be able to work together now. So it's like the dream, living the dream.
Definitely. And it's a very, very strong faculty there in visual arts. And of course, you've got a new building coming next, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've seen the plans. It looks...
Okay, great.
Pretty.
So let's, while we're on Loyola, let's talk about, what do you love about the place?
When I first started working at Loyola, I was pretty struck by the fact that every single person in the yard will smile at you, no matter like where you are. And I remember feeling like I'd fallen through a rip in the fabric of time, and I was like in an alternate reality because everyone was just smiling all the time. And I was like, oh, come on. But it's still the same. So I quite like the friendly banter at Loyola.
Do you have a best moment so far?
I do actually, Michael. Now, I would like to say that it was the America trip with you and Cuds, but there was one other moment which I think stands out quite a lot for me, and it was in my first year of teaching, and I had Year 7 media, which is a really good class to have, and it was around Christmas time, and I was playing all these Christmas carols, and I'd secretly queued up All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey, the famed Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came on, all the kids got out of their chairs and everyone started singing it, and they sang for the whole song. And I felt like I was in a movie doing a flash mob or something, and I didn't want it to end. It was so funny, and it was one of those moments where I think about it every Christmas. I'm like, can I recreate this? But I can't.
Well, this year you might have to. It might be the highlight of the whole school year if you can pull that off.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Now, what do you love? Let's talk about being in the visual arts faculty and teaching, a range of subjects. What do you love about that? What's the best thing about being in those classrooms?
I'm pretty excited by the people I work with in visual arts, and I guess there's so many open-minded and creative people from a lot of different backgrounds too. So it's quite awesome to be able to work with all of these really creative but also really, really good operators in the school. Plus, I don't know if you've seen us walking around the school, but we have a little bit of an art squad going on. Often some different matching outfits, but yeah, it's all happening.
You are a weird bunch. There's no doubt about that. But we do love you for it. Now, let's talk about the great thing in visual arts, and we see it in performing arts as well, and we sometimes see it in technology and food, is that the teachers are living their living their career either before they became a teacher. We've got people that used to be performers and they become performing arts teachers, or they're doing it while they're teaching as well, keeping that hobby going. And that probably is your camp. You are an illustrator and you've kept that going as well. So tell us a little bit about what you draw, some of the mediums that you use, those sorts of things.
Yeah, so I still do quite a lot of like collaborative projects in the school holidays. Obviously, it's a little bit hard to fit it around school days, but in the school holidays, I usually team up with people or do little collaborations. There hasn't been as much this year because obviously, the things that are going on. But last year I got to team up with the Women and Girls Emergency Centre, and they're a organization who creates sort of, I guess, like emergency accommodation for women and children that are trying to leave difficult situations. And it was really cool to actually get to use my art. So I did a bespoke piece for them that they auctioned off and then used that money to raise money for the organization. So it's like a really cool way then of, I guess, being able to use my art to promote really positive messages and important messages as well.
And I've got, you can't see this, but I've got some of your artwork up here on the screen for people at home. There's some images from your website, which are fantastic. I've got here, there's a pot plant with a design on it, and I think a UFO with someone looking up at the UFO. And your one of your latest ones, which was women with glasses, wearing glasses, which I absolutely love.
Represent.
So where do you get these ideas from? You always seem to pick a theme of some description. How does that come to you?
I guess because my background, I studied communication design for quite a while, and that's more of you have a design brief that you work to and then you create something. So I usually do create some kind of parameters, I'm going to do a whole bunch of portraits of women who wear glasses. And that really, for me, that idea just came from noticing that quite a lot of female students I had too were really embarrassed to wear their glasses. And I was like, no, they're so good. So I just wanted to create art that would encourage other people to be proud of wearing their glasses and stuff like that. So I think usually my ideas just come from things at work or talking to people, or sometimes just sitting on a bus or something and overhearing a weird conversation that I'm just like, ooh, that's got an idea in it. Yeah. So pretty much everything, yeah.
And at the moment, you're doing a different medium or a different type of product per month. What is September?
Oh, September. I think I've got it around here.
Yeah,
at the moment, I'm doing ballpoint pens because I ran out of art supplies and I had to start trying to figure out what I had at home. So,
grab that, because I think last month you were using crayons.
Yes, I was using crayons, and then before that I was using grey leads. But here we go. I've got some here. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
I haven't put anywhere yet.
This is an exclusive.
This is an exclusive, guys. This is a ballpoint pen portrait I've done of a woman. I'm not really sure what her deal is or what her story is, but I was just mucking around. So just that kind of stuff, fine detail and things like that. What's another one? It's just some cute flowers. This one's just a cute landscape. Yeah, that's another exclusive, guys.
I know this is huge. Our numbers are just going through the roof here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm just having a look. Give a big like if you're in the chat rooms. Give a big like to Alexis's work because it's amazing. Fantastic. And I think it's really important that teachers, I think you'd agree, who, we've all got a passion for our area, and I think it's important that teachers show that passion to their students.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just nice to have stuff to do that's different than your job. I think it's a nice balance that you have in your life then, and you have things that you're doing that then inspire what you're doing at work too. So it's really great.
Well, it's been a pleasure chatting to you and all our teacher guests over the last few weeks. Thank you so much for coming on, and I hope to see you in the flesh soon.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Thanks, Alexis.
Bye.
Catch you later. That is the wonderful Alexis Winter, visual arts teacher at Loyola College. And as you can see, very, very talented teacher. And we have many of those at Loyola College who live their passion, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. Okay, it is time to have a bit of a chat, and it's our final charity to talk about. Our final charity, we've done a few each week, our 6 charities aligned with our 6 houses at school. We support these charities each year with a walk. Now, We're not sure what form that walk might take in term 4, but it hasn't mattered because our community have still got behind our 6 charities. And tonight we're talking MacKillop Family Services. Now they do a whole range of things here in Melbourne in particular, but right across Australia. But tonight I wanted to highlight some work they do in the area of adoption. So I'm going to pop this video on and you can see some of the great work that they do.
I think it's a million amazing moments, you know, tucking her into bed at night, giving her a cuddle in the morning when she's all sleepy and warm.
Us clapping our hands and acting a fool, dancing in the kitchen to silly music.
And to see them start to smile again and interact with others and be happy and giggle.
Speaking about deep and personal things and the struggles that she's had in her life and being able to just be there to listen.
Being there for each other and loving each other and supporting each other.
I don't give them as much as they give me, the love.
We know we're making a difference, and that's always just a great feeling that we get for doing it.
A lot of people will say, oh, I don't think I'd ever be able to do that, but it's actually not that difficult.
This is something we'll keep doing. It's been too good of an experience.
And I love it. I love it.
This is what I do. This is my life. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I do.
If you can show a child, even for 2 hours, that there is more out there for them and better out there for them.
Even that very little short time will stay with them for a very, very long time.
You can change these kids' lives.
Okay, the amazing work there by MacKillop Family Services in adoption, but they also work with youth across a broad spectrum, people with disabilities. They do some really good work. And as we've been saying every week, I know that people are doing it tough, and many of our families at Loyola are doing it tough, but these are the charities working with the people doing it the hardest, who have, you know, lost everything at the moment with these restrictions. And so you can help out, and that is the website below, 2020loyolawalk.raisley.com. If you're watching this and don't have a child at Loyola, you can still donate. You just go and hit that donate button. You can even choose your old house if you're an ex-student watching this show. We'd love to do that. If you have not registered, if you're a student there who has not registered on the website yet, get on there and register. It's not too late to get started. And I think last time I checked, and I might have a little check now, we're something like $18,000, which is amazing, considering we haven't actually been at school, where normally at school we would raise close to $15,000 just at school alone. So to be able to fundraise $18,000 outside of school with very little money coming in at school is quite amazing. So get on the website and help us out with our 6 house charities. All right, the quiz is not too far away. Now, we know that we have a bunch of 230 grade 6s or year 6s waiting to start at Loyola next year. And normally we would be interacting with them at school. They'd come and have a visit, and we're not sure what that's going to look like. And we know that at the moment, grade 6 is really, really tough for you because, you know, it's a pinnacle year, like our year 12s are finding it really hard. So what we did is we got a bunch of our year 7s together to send a special message to our grade 6s who are starting at Loyola next year. And here it is. If you haven't seen it, here it is for you to look at tonight on the show.
Hello, future Year 7 Loyola students.
We wanted to send this quick message to say hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. As current Year 7 students, we remember what it's like getting ready to join secondary school.
We understand that some of you may be nervous or apprehensive about moving to a large college.
But you have nothing to worry about.
Loyola is a great community
where you will make great memories
meet wonderful teachers,
and form lifelong friendships.
We have lots planned for your transition into the college.
But for now, do your best to enjoy your last months of primary school.
and we look forward to having you join us next year.
All right, it's that time again. It's quiz time. Hope everyone is ready at home. And as promised a couple of weeks ago, tonight's theme is modern day Melbourne. It's looked very, very different over the last couple of months. Very quiet and not the place that we all know and love. So let's remember some of the amazing things about Melbourne in tonight's quiz. And for all our students that are watching tonight, the quiz is a little bit easier for you. So I hope you'll be able to join in this evening and get the correct answers. For our adults at home, you're aiming for 10 out of 10 this evening. 10 out of 10 is your goal. So let's get it on. Question 1. If you wanted to take a train from the station nearest to Loyola College into the centre of Melbourne, what train line would you be travelling on? What train line would you be travelling on? All right, fairly easy one for you to get going this evening, and hopefully you got the Hurstbridge line. The Hurstbridge line is the winner there. And of course we know that will it ever be extended any further on? Who knows? We've seen the Epping line get extended, and now it's the South Morang, I think, is it, or Mernda line. So who knows? That may happen in the future. All right, question 2. If you wanted to meet a friend under the clocks, outside what Melbourne train station would you be meeting them? So which train station would you meet them at if you're meeting them under the clocks? Great, and we're getting lots of our students and adults alike on YouTube and Facebook getting these correct. This one's nice and easy. Flinders Street Station. And little side note there about Flinders Street Station, it has a very unique look about it, and that's because the designers of that train station, in fact, were drawing 2 train station designs at the same time, one for a city in India and one for a city here in Australia, being Melbourne, and they sent each other the wrong plans. And so we built the one that was meant to be in India, and they built our one. So a little fun fact for you there on the side. All right, question 3. What is the name of the Cathedral of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Melbourne? What is the name of our big cathedral? I'm just having a look here on Facebook and YouTube to see how everyone's going. Everyone's getting them right this evening. I hope, as good Catholics, we all got this one correct. Of course, it's a St. Patrick's Cathedral. St. Patrick's, to be sure. All right. What Melbourne store is known for its Christmas windows display, an annual tradition that started in 1956? Of course, another famous year that was, for those students watching at home, we had the Melbourne Olympic Games in 1956, and of course it was the first year too we got television here in Australia for the 56 games. So it would have been interesting to see, if we hadn't had the Olympics, how much longer we would have had to wait for television, because the Americans had TV for many years prior to that. But 1956, of course, it's the Maya Christmas windows, and I believe unless they get a sponsor this year, they won't be able to do them. That's the last time I heard, that unless they get a sponsor, it is just costing them too much money to keep them going. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me on the socials, but I think they were looking for a sponsor to get them across the line for that this year. Question 5. What is the earliest and latest dates on which the Melbourne Cup is run each year? What is the earliest date that the Melbourne Cup can be? And what is the latest date the Melbourne Cup can be? Just having a look at our answers here. Well done to those of you. We've got Krispy Kreme getting it right. Aussie Junker, Sam I Am. Graham Bland is in the house over on YouTube. And on Facebook, we've got Ross Walker, Karen Street, Bron McLeod, Olivia Gigliotti, Ross Walker. Thank you all for tuning in. Some of you haven't missed an episode. Graham, are you watching it at work or are you watching it at home? Are our taxpayers paying for you to watch it at work? I'm sure he'll answer me in a moment. Well, 1st of November is the earliest and 7th is the latest. It is always the first Tuesday in November. So wherever that might land is where it will land. All right, question 6. In what suburb will you find Luna Park? And of course here in Melbourne, not the one in Sydney. Graham, you're at home. Lovely to hear that you're at home this evening. Fantastic. So what is the suburb that you would find Luna Park? St Kilda is the answer there. St Kilda is the answer there. Fantastic. Okay, Pin Oak Court in the suburb of Vermont South is used for exterior shots of Ramsay Street for what Australian television series? What Australian television series is shot in on Ramsay Street? One of our former Loyola students was on Neighbours for many, many years when she was younger, in the name of Jordan Tolley, an ex-student of ours, class of 2010, maybe, somewhere around there, 2010, 2011, somewhere there. Fantastic. All right, let's see. The answer, of course, is good old Neighbours. Still going, only because the British love it so much. Struggles to get any ratings here in Australia. All right, true or false? Melbourne has a larger tram network than any other city in the world. True or false? And there are many cities with great tram networks. This includes cable car networks, so any type of tram network. Is ours the longest and biggest in the world? And the answer, many of you have got it already, is it is true. We have over 250 kilometres of track with 1,750 stops on 25 routes. And of course, the one closest to Loyola, the RMIT tram, takes about 4 hours to get into the city from there. It's a long trip with a lot of stops there down High Street. Number 9. Since 1959, where do Melburnians gather each December for carols by candlelight? Where do they all hang out for the great carols by candlelight? I hope that we can have something like that this year. But outside, that's a win. A win is outside, so that's a start. Let's pray that by December 24 that we are out of this lockdown and we are having a great time. The answer, of course, is the Sydney Myer Music Bowl. And for those young ones playing along at home, it is not Sydney named after the city of Sydney, but after Sydney Myer, a famous Melburnian. Carols by Candlelight was first celebrated in the Alexander Gardens in 1938 and had to move to the Sydney Myer Music Bowl, and it now is seen right across Australia, but of course ours is still the best here in Melbourne. And question 10, the Boxing Day Test has been a Melbourne tradition since 1980. What sport do fans watch either live at the MCG or at their home? What is the sport? Nice and easy to finish off our 10-question quiz this evening. I think most of you will get this correct. And again, hopefully it's something we can have this year. And of course, the answer is cricket. In 1989, there was a one-day match against Sri Lanka, not the first day of a test match. Yes, it has not always just been a test match on Boxing Day. And of course, New Zealand now have a Boxing Day test, and there are other countries that are trying to steal the day off us, but certainly it'll be big and hopefully back this year. Hey, that has been this week's quiz. And a huge shout out to the amazing Anne Musgrove. Anne is our timetabler and daily organiser at Loyola, and she prepared all 4 weeks of questions for me. So Anne, I know you'll be watching this in the morning and not live at night because you have to get up early to hear all those teachers who ring in sick and organise the day, but I appreciate your support in the quiz each week. Okay, coming up next, our alumni interview this evening, class of 2009. Okay, it's that time of the night again where we speak to one of our alumni, and this evening it's class of 2009. Some of you may remember her as Gianna Della Vecchia, but tonight you'll know her as Gianna Lucas. Would you please welcome her to the show? Good evening. Good evening.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Michael. It's going to be lots of fun.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I've been so excited to get you on because you only have to look at your resume and it's pretty full. I don't know how you've even had time to drop in tonight, but
it's been a bit hectic. Let's just say it like that.
Well, why don't we start with, I've asked this question to all our guests this evening. What have you been doing in lockdown? How has it treated you?
You know, lockdown's been very interesting. To be totally honest, earlier this year, around March, the 2020 I thought I was going into didn't actually happen. So I was meant to go on a holiday overseas to Europe. I had planned on creating an event for young people, for 500 youth in Ivanhoe. That was where it was going to be. And I also was planning on launching a social enterprise in July for youth. None of that happened. And I had all these school bookings planned for me to go into schools and talk to their female students, and that didn't happen either. But what did happen was I ended up going back into radio and working 5 days a week as an announcer, which wasn't on my radar this year at all, but ended up being a really big blessing. So in lockdown, I've been actually working from home every day. During the day, I'll be working on this social enterprise of how that's actually launching on the 14th of September. And then in the evenings, I'll be on air on radio as part of a show on 89.9 The Light. So it's fair to say, I've been doing about 13 plus hour days, and weekends have been chock-a-block. So it's helped lockdown go by faster because I've been very busy. I've had lots of things to do in my schedule.
Well, let's talk about when you left Loyola in 2009. The journey began at university.
Yes. So I went to La Trobe Uni and studied a Bachelor of Journalism because I knew even when I was at Loyola College, I wanted to work in the media. And so that seemed the great fit for me. Absolutely loved my course. But what I appreciated more was actually going and getting real experience, like on the ground. And so I went into radio after that. Worked as a producer at 89.9 The Light on Breakfast and had a couple of my own shows. Do you want me to go into more detail about what the last 10 years has brought me?
Well, I mean, if anyone wants to go and visit your LinkedIn page, I counted 18 different jobs, which I actually think is a really good example for those year 11s and 12s who are watching this evening. Is the days of people going into one career for the rest of their life is pretty much over. I mean, you are a representation of your age group in that you will find those opportunities where they come up. So why don't you give us a few of the best of those over the journey so far?
Yeah, you're right. You know, when you actually just said 18 jobs, I was like, no way. Like, I'm even shocked by that. Because, I mean, the reality is they're not all jobs. They're actually... so I've worked for myself in business too. So I think there's a combination of both. And fortunately, some of those jobs were at the same organisation, just a different role. So luckily, I haven't jumped 18 times to 18 different organisations, because even that would be
be crazy. But certainly 18 job titles, I should say. And and like, look, let's talk about the underlying drive of what you do, and that is to inspire young women and girls. Let's talk about that, because that is the theme of who you are. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So you're right. I've been very passionate from a young age about helping young people, particularly young women, because I myself am kind of still a young woman. I mean, I'm turning 29 on the 25th of September. So some may say I'm an oldie now, but I still feel young. But yeah, so I work as a coach and I work as an educator. So I work with schools and individuals in a variety of different ways. I guess I'm really passionate about it because when I was actually in primary school, I had a debilitating anxiety disorder, which was really, I guess, devastating for my parents to see in me, but they loved me unconditionally. And I always believed that I would be able to overcome my anxiety, or at least work through it so it's not overpowering and I'm able to cope on a daily basis. But I would often get so nauseous that I would vomit going to school or going to the shops. That's just the effect it had on my body. And then when I was able to work through my anxiety going into high school at Loyola, I actually had a recording contract and then worked in the media for a few years whilst being at school. And I just, in that moment, I've obviously summarized my journey there. It's a lot more complicated than that, but I, in that moment, realized the power of media. I realized the importance of the messages that young women get and how vulnerable we are, especially in high school when our hormones are changing and we're trying to figure out what we want in our life, who we are as a person, and how we actually fit in school. And so I decided that as I work in the media, I also want to devote a lot of my time to supporting young women so they recognize that they're absolutely amazing and it's okay to be you. In fact, it should be celebrated. Yeah.
And so you've actually come and spoke at Loyola at one point, and you've done similar workshops, I assume, across a range of schools.
Yes. Yeah, I have. It's been amazing. Yeah.
And
not so much this year though.
No.
With COVID, that's kind of been put on hold. Although there are opportunities as well to do face-to-face workshops online, but that's changed. It's still being worked through because schools are trying to figure out what's happening next. We don't know.
Now let's talk about radio, because the minute people have finished watching this, they're going to switch straight onto 89.9 and listen to you. So what can we expect from your show at the moment at The Light?
Yeah, every week we have an interview at 7:30 p.m, but at the moment you'll be hearing me a part of this. So you won't be hearing the interview at 7:30, but we've got games that we play every night. We've got prizes to give away. As I said, we've got fantastic interviews with experts and just people that are in the entertainment industry. We also get to have really heartfelt conversations and have talk topics on a whole variety of things. And so you can always join in on the conversation anytime from 7 to 10 p.m, Monday to Friday on 89.9 The Light with my co-host Glenn.
Good. Good. Glenn got the plug in as well. That's good.
He's the other half. He has to be mentioned.
Now you've got a business about to launch, and I think this is very, very exciting. I've seen some of the excitement building up. A few little leaks have come out on the Instagram the last couple of weeks. So tell us all about this new venture of yours.
Yeah. So it's called Hapow. So it stands for the words happy and power, and it's the whole idea is to help young people power up life and give them life skills that can support them in high school, uni and beyond. And I think it's going to be amazing because it's a fusion of a media organisation and an educational platform, and it's 100% free. So you don't pay for it. We work with experts in their field that are absolute legends that are usually at the top of their game, and they have such a heart for young people that we create these life lessons, which essentially are high-end, high-production masterclasses, and they're available once a month to you for free, as well as a weekly podcast that's launching on the 21st of September. So the online platform comes out on the 14th. The 21st, the podcast comes out, and we get to interview the likes of some pretty well-known Aussies, which is very, very exciting. But we also have an advocate program where young people like yourself or Loyola College can be a part of the organisation and can weigh in on talk topics in our podcast, write blogs for us, and just get involved in a whole variety of things, including our socials.
Wow, that is exciting, and I think that word "free" will get many people to pop across, which is amazing. So we look forward to that. Now, before I let you go, we always ask our alumni some of their memories and what they miss about Loyola. So, you know, it's been, 10, 12 years now.
Not quite 12.
No, 12. What? So 2009. It's about 10, 11.
Yeah. Don't make me look that old. Michael.
No. So how do you? What's some things that you remember?
Oh goodness, probably my favourite memory to date is definitely when I played Polly Baker in Crazy for You in Year 11 as part of the school musical. That, for me, is still to this day one of the highlights in my life, not just even from Loyola. I had so much fun with the crew and with the cast, and still to this day I can recite the songs. I won't be doing that here though, don't worry. And some of the key lines from the show as well. So yeah, definitely fantastic memories. I think as well, something that I remember fondly is when I was actually the captain of Christian Service, co-captain in Year 12. That was a real honour to be given that opportunity to, especially in the social service space, which again, I'm so passionate about, to be in that role. But also just other memories like planning the school formal, being at the school formal. Some of the teachers, like I remember one teacher, I probably shouldn't even be bringing this up, but I remember one teacher at school, and it haunts me when I go to the supermarket. This is really funny. When I pass Jalna yogurt, he used to call me, "Hey Jalna," instead of Gianna.
Instead of Gianna, that's what. Wow.
But can I tell you, it was all a bit of fun. Like, no, we were always stirring each other, and so that's actually quite a fond memory. Is it a fond memory? I don't know, but it makes me laugh a lot.
It does. And I think that's really important. A big shout out to our college committee too, who have done it tough this year. They're actually an amazing group, and they haven't been able to really do as much as they wanted under COVID. But it is it's a title that you'll always keep with you, which is great. Hey,
great on the resume. Right on the resume. And you know what? The great thing is, yes, it's hard because you can't have that face-to-face interaction. If there were programs you were going to be a part of or initiate at Loyola, you can't do. But I strongly encourage you to still see what is available online, because a lot of these services have gone online. So, but I know it's not the same as face-to-face. But, you know, it is great on the resume, as I said.
It is, and it's a changing world. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure. And just to remind everyone again, if you want to hear Gianna again tonight, right now, you can switch over to 89.9 The Light, or any time this week, Monday to Friday, and look out for Hapau, the new business venture. How can they search for that now?
Yeah, so if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Happow, HAPPOW, and as of the 14th of September, our website will be live. If you go to it now, it doesn't exist, but it will be on the day. The website is happow.com. That's it.
Great, that's it. All right, it's been a pleasure tonight having a chat with you. Wish you all the best for the future, and I'm sure we will hear from you again really soon.
Thanks, Michael.
No worries, thanks. Okay, that is Gianna Lucas there, and some amazing things happening at the moment with her. Hey, it's been another fantastic show tonight, and also a fantastic series. It's only been 4 weeks, I know. It was all about Stage 4, so it was just a way to connect with our community and bring that into your homes at the moment. We're hoping in Term 4, when we have some students back on campus, we can bring you some other events like we did with Live at the Inigo. So keep your eyes out on all our social media platforms at Loyola College to see what else we can bring to you under COVID-19 restrictions. But from me, Michael O'Keefe, it's been a pleasure to be with you for the last month for the Variety Hour, and I wish you all the best.